Hello MotionVFX customers, this is Jason from the MotionVFX Help Desk. Today I'm going to show you something pretty cool that a lot of people do actually buy our template projects. And I'm going to do this not in a glitzy tutorial, but in taking my time to show you ins and outs of how to get things done. So there's no fancy editing going on here, this is just simply showing you how things are done. Now a particular customer has asked about project 1599. Which he's purchased. I'm going to add this to my timeline by hitting the E key. You will be able to see down here in the lower right corner my shortcuts that I'm using along the way. So good thing to keep an eye out on there. Now this is a pretty cool project because it has simple text and you can change everything, and everything animates in and out together really well. And you can do a lot of cool stuff with this one. But what is a little unclear to some people is just drop zones, the way things work, and even something as simple as one of the questions that this customer asked is, why is it that there's no video showing in here? Well, it's because this project contains drop zones. It's not actually something with a previewable video. If I drop a video itself, so let's drop my first bit of footage that I'm actually going to use onto my timeline here, and I'll show the space. You can see here there is a preview because there's actually video within the content, but this content here is simply a template with the multiple drop zones. So let's go back to drop zone area number 1 here. Now I'm going to add this content. Now there's a few different ways you can add content, and I'm going to show you through them. By the way, for those of you who are on an M1 Mac, I believe that all of our templates actually do work on an M1. You can see here on our website, these are the templates. Simply go up here and you can come down and look through the templates. So let's choose something a little bit older here rather than the absolute brand newest release. We'll just scroll through a few down and let's just take a random number here like 951. Why not? I don't know, it's just what came up. And it says right here at the top, product compatible with Apple Silicon. So let's go back to the templates just quickly and let's hit the search. There it is. Now let's type in an earlier one. Let's just put in random number 500 and see what we get. So there's project number 500 right there, and sure enough, compatible. Now on the off chance that something isn't, just come up to the help menu, go to the FAQ, scroll down, and you'll see here, are your plugins compatible with Apple Silicon M1 computers? If they're not, there is the workaround method here using the Rosetta 2 way of doing things. So get that out of the way and back to our template editing. Now to go to your drop zone, there's a few ways to do this. One, you could just click on here, get it from within the timeline here, which doesn't always work, and sometimes it's a little bit finicky, so this is not the primary way to do it, but you could use it. And keep in mind that whatever frame you start from is where your drop zone is going to start. So if I say started right here near the end of this one and then hit apply clip, what's going to happen is you can see here from the beginning it starts there and it's going to freeze because there's not enough video to keep playing at the end. If I go back and get rid of that and click it from here, sorry, I didn't, there we go, I hadn't engaged it, that's better. So we go back to the start here, choose the very first frame if we wanted to, and then it will play through, and when it gets near the end and it starts moving away, it's still playing, but it's not the primary bit of footage that I wanted to see, because just going up the ramp is kind of boring. So let's try one more time and make sure that we get the right bit of footage. And then this time, instead of doing it from there, let's do it from up here, which is the better place to do it. So let's find the spot that we want. Now this is in Japan, but of course Japan likes using the American flag because it's a theme park, so why not? Hit there and apply clip. By the way, I live in Japan, and this is my own footage from when I was out with my family one day, so there you go. And we'll hit play, get that to play through, and you can see there, going through, get the nice exciting moment with the water splashing and everything, and then it'll get ready for the next video. And you can see it's still moving because there was still enough frames there to play. So let's get rid of this, go to the second drop zone. I usually like to have these up so that I can see what's where, and I'm going to put a bit of footage from inside of the Shibuya Scramble Crossing here in Tokyo, which is like our version of Times Square in New York. And this is a time-lapse piece with a few different edits in it. This one I actually didn't make myself, I will admit. Now let's click on it. Let's click on the footage. Let's go to the spot that we want to start from, which is the very first frame, and we'll hit apply clip. Now when we play that through, you'll notice here that we'll get from our first clip, exposing our second clip underneath. It'll roll up. Very easy to get things to go together. And we're all good. So let's go to our third clip, and let's have a look near the end here. There's a reason I'm going to go to near the end here, because I want to get a bit of footage from a really long video here. Now this is a video which I shot and edited for German television a while back. So let's try this. We'll click on that whole thing and now go to film strip. There we go, and there it is right there. Now the challenge here is that if I click on this, my main timeline is at 23.98 frames per second. This particular video was edited for German television, as I mentioned, and this video is at 25 frames per second because Germany uses PAL, much like Australia, my home country, much like England. However, in America and here in Japan, they use NTSC, which is why it's 23.98 frames per second, or alternatively, you could go for 29.97, and you've just got to learn about your frame rates and how they work. So what I wanted to put in this drop zone number 3 here is the footage here where we go from being at an interview, then there's a shot at the sky tree on a drone, and then here we go, we've got a time lapse that goes from day into night, and then there's some nighttime driving around the city. So I want to get that exact moment right there as the start of it. Now, because we've got mixed frame rates and all sorts of things going on, and also this is a very long video, this is like a 7-minute and 20-second video that's all been pre-edited. It's not easy to try and get that to go to the right spot. So let me just show you. So it's roughly there in that line. We'll go to our drop zone number 3. Wait for this to come up because I'm screen recording at the same time, so forgive my computer for running a little bit slowly. It's not an M1, this one, it's an Intel. So we'll click on the drop zone. We'll find the spot again because it's somehow or another reset itself then, and we'll find the spot. So there we go, and click there, and you can see that that frame and the frame that's half over here is not matching, which is a bit of a problem. Let's apply clip first of all. And you can even see there's a problem here because this frame here is actually stationary. We'll go through this and I'll explain to you guys what's happened so that you can learn from this and do things differently yourself. So that one finishes. Come and play. There we go. And when it gets near the end, because it's actually the end of the video, it freezes because there wasn't enough time in that video. Now, this is the cool thing with these project templates is that's actually as a full presentation. It's 1 minute 44 seconds and 2 frames long. Now by stretching this out longer, you can make it play longer, and by stretching it, also pushing it shorter rather, you can make it play shorter. And what happens is that the timing within these drop zones will stay exactly as it was as far as a playing video. Things won't play faster, they won't play slower, they do not automatically retime. What happens is that the drop zone duration of where it started to where it finishes, so let's just say that one there finishes, going frame by frame here, roughly there. I'll put a marker there. Alright. Now when I go and I shrink this down, so I'm going to go from 1 minute 44 all the way down to 1 minute. What will happen, that's close enough, what will happen is that that shot there, you can see here, is no longer where that drop zone ended, because what's happened here is it's actually taken the duration of what was there before and it's made it shorter. I'm going to Command Z, or the Command Z depending on how you pronounce it, to get it to go back to the full length, and this playhead is currently at 12 seconds and 13 frames because that was the duration of that first drop zone. Because we've shortened the clip here, so I'm going to do Command Shift Z to redo the change that I made. Now when we go and find where that first drop zone finished, and we'll do the arrow looks like it's around about there. That's now at 7 minutes and 4 frames, keeping in mind that it's going to roll over at 23, 24 frames because of the frame rate. There you go, 23 frames and then back to 0. So let's say it's 24 frames because you're starting at 0. So at 4 frames is where it basically ended up, so that was gone and we're completely over to the new shot without anything leaving in the previous shot. So again, to explain this, you adjust the length of one of these project templates. It will change the length, but it will also change the speed of every single drop zone, every single text, and everything that happens in the middle. The way to get around that is to use a compound clip, which I'm not going to go too far into right now because it's going to make this an exceedingly long video. But when we play this through, something else interesting happened here. So let's play this and watch what happens. So that disappears. This one here is going through. And you notice that we never got to the end where there was those 2 people standing there. Like when I undo it from before, it got to the end where those 2 people were there. It's roughly that shot actually that was at the end of that. See, there you go. And that's when it jumped in and went into the next slide. And you can also see that, well, actually maybe you don't know my footage actually, so I shouldn't say you can also see. Let's go back again. What happened here was that when 3 came in, it was already on the bridge. But my footage from where we were using before, where it changed, and that's where I did the drop zone start from, goes through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the amount of edits. Let's say 6. 7, because I know that cuts there. 8, 9. So it goes through 8 extra clips until the 9th clip is the one on the bridge. So it's missed out all of that footage in between there, which is, I don't know, probably a good 20 seconds or so of footage, because of the way that the frame rates, the stretching of the clip and everything else work. There's so much that goes in between. Now, to get this to work right, let's say that we are going to not do the shortened version for now. Let's go back to the full size version, which I'm on, okay. And sorry, I accidentally went back too far and got rid of my marker, which I've just returned. There it is. And now I want to go and I want to get this start of this frame to be that driving in the city. How to do that? So let's have a look here. I'm going to reduce my frame there. I'm going to go back to the list view and I'm going to drop my entire project onto my main timeline. Now I'm going to just do Shift Z to be able to see the entire timeline. And let's find the spot that I wanted to use, which is, have a look here. The frame is right there, so let's put a marker there. All right, now let's find the spot that we were looking at here earlier, which is not that one. Let's remove that marker. And let's find the spot that I wanted to be using, which is just play backwards, J to play backwards, K to pause, L to play forward. It's a shortcut I think a lot of people probably don't even know exists. So let's hit M for the marker. Just on that quickly, L, you hit L twice, it plays double speed, then 4 times speed, then 8 times speed, then 16 times speed, and you can do the same thing in reverse. J to play in reverse, J to play in reverse 2 times, 4 times, 8 times, 16 times, 32 times. One of the coolest shortcuts you'll ever learn on Final Cut. So let's get this up and running. Sorry, this video is taking a while, but I really want you guys to learn something here. And I'm sure there's plenty of people who are watching this going, oh my God, this is so incredible. I never knew any of this before. So some people will know, some people won't. Let's go to this drop zone well here, and let's go to this footage and let's preview it. Now we can see there that that's the spot that I wanted. So let's click on it. And you can see there it didn't work. So here's how to get around this. Let's move back. While we've got this view as it is, let's move back to a certain degree. Click again. That's not the footage that I wanted yet. That's too far back. That's what I wanted. So I can apply this now. This may not quite be perfect because we've got to account for the animation here, but let's just hit apply for now. And we'll go back here and we'll check by going backwards with the back arrow or left arrow. See, there you go. There's that footage earlier. So now that we know what the footage looks like that we're looking for, it's got the city view on the side of the buildings over here. let's move this playhead to the spot that we want it to be at. Oops, that way. So how many frames we have to account for? So there's 1, 2, 3. Actually, let's call that 1 frame. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 is enough just to get a quality view that we can see. And let's go and find that spot that we were looking for. So let's start. Oops, sorry. Let's start by redoing the well. So we'll get rid of that and we'll click on it again. Sorry, my bad for missing that step a second ago. And now let's find the footage. That's the city view. That's the view that we were looking for. We can even zoom in here and make sure that we find what we're after. Got to be a little bit patient with yourself and with the program to get this to work. But this is the way to trick mismatched frame rates and all sorts of things on your timeline to make it work. So let's leave a marker there for now. And let's just double check by applying the clip. Let's go back to where we were and see if this works now. So we'll just play backwards with J. Yeah, there's a little bit more that we need, but you're getting the idea, right? So just by messing around with it that little bit, you'll be able to make it work. And to be honest with you, very few people are going to watch your video and notice, but if you're like me, I'm a perfectionist and I like to get these things bang on. And that's how you can make these drop zones work to your advantage. So when we go to the next one, which will be, what's that? It's another animation like that. You know what, to be honest with you, we could even just, for the sake of making this work quickly, we can go to number 4 and let's choose a random section. Let's do that bit there with the kids, which probably won't be the kids because of the duration. See, there you go, it's not again. But let's apply the clips and now just have a quick look at what we've got here. And of course you would put your music underneath and everything, and if you had a video with somebody talking, you could even make that work by matching up your audio and your video later as well. It's amazing the things you can do with this stuff once you actually sit down and sort of get outside of the norm and think outside the box and try and make this stuff all work. So I hope you enjoyed this extremely in-depth look at how to use drop zones within these project templates that we offer here from MotionVFX. It's long, it's a lot of information, but you know, this is the whole thing. You've got to think outside the box as an editor and just get creative and find ways to make things work. I hope this is a good introduction. I hope you guys enjoy the templates, and if you need any further help, just contact myself or the guys at the MotionVFX Help Desk, and I'm sure we'll speak to you soon. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.